G'day and welcome to the Infernals. I'm Execute. Today I'm joined by Osiris and Algared. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
We're getting old. This is getting old now,
well,
isn't it? Maybe we just do the show this time
Yep.
every day, I think, from now on.
Almost there.
Yeah.
That's right. Almost there. Almost there.
So we had to get Osiris in for this one because he's a big Drake fanboy, so he's...
Yar. This is the eye patch.
Yeah, he's got the Scottish going there with the red hair and all that.
That's right.
He'll be the first pirate ever with a kilt. All right, so we'll kick it off with a really obvious thing. Drake, Kraken, Privateer. Your initial thoughts on it, I guess. I'll start with Algared because I know what Osiris is going to say. So, Algared, what's your thoughts on it?
My biggest concern is the shops taking up 80% of the cargo. So reducing the cargo space on the Kraken from 3,700 odd down to 700. Because I think that takes away the key component of a Kraken of repair, rearm, refuel. If you're drawing from the supplies on the ship,
can I just say,
and you take that away,
just so other people are aware, that's roughly like going from a Buccaneer merchantman down to almost a Caterpillar. Almost, not quite, but almost. Just to give you a visual. All right, sorry, I thought that was important. Go ahead.
But yeah, so I think that big shift in cargo space is really important because that cargo space remains is also going to be what's resupplying the stores, as well as your rearm, refuel, repair, and I think that's going to really cripple the ability for the ship to be independent. It'll really rely on resupply.
Makes me think it like the Kraken's like that mobile base that you'll be going to, where this is more of a ship that seems like it'll be a bit more like the Buccaneer Merchantman and travel between stations and stuff, a bit more like the Buccaneer Merchantman. That's what I get out of it.
No, I think sorry, if you're saying the Privateer is more like the base that's kind of there, like a rest stop, I think you're right. I think that it's basically turning the Kraken into a rest stop, which when you need to, you can actually...
Yeah, well, either it's going to travel like the Banu, or people are going to be constantly delivering stuff to it. Yes, that's what I think. I think it's also... I did say this to both of you earlier, but I think a little bit of a missed opportunity because I think it would have been really cool if you... I guess you could kind of do this with a default Kraken now, I think about it. When I was saying about the whole series, you could park it in orbit above a planet that doesn't have a space station, like a remote outpost, and a ship like a Hull C that doesn't normally able to go down to planet, it can come there, drop all of its stuff off, and then you could just have Hull A's and B's like a normal space station, take all the stuff down. Well, there's the solution. Just keep your normal Kraken. Yeah. Here we go. Problem solved. Anyway, Osiris, your thoughts on the Privateer, please, sir.
Okay, so in a nutshell, the thing here with the Kraken that you're not getting from the Buccaneer Merchantman is the upscaled force projection. So max Kraken crew is 10 people, max Merchantman crew is 8 people. So let's say you have 10 people in your org available to pick one ship. The Kraken is going to do a better job with just those 10 people at securing your supply, keeping you from getting robbed in lawless space where you're probably using this thing to do business away from traditional ports because your cargo is flagged. So I think that it does have a role here. That said, it's a little overpriced. I think we can all agree on that.
And what, $300 war bond? The difference between it and the Kraken? So
yeah.
If you have a larger org, to your point that you mentioned before the show, Execute, you could buy like 5 Buccaneer Merchantmans at the same price.
So to put it on the same... To put us on the same page, me and Osiris talked very heated debate about this before the show, and I think the only way we kind of disagree is I generally agree on the scalability issue. I just can't see it yet, so that might be something down the road that we see. Where Osiris pointed out about requiring less people, I totally agree. That's 100%. But what I dispute is the cargo part, because the Buccaneer Merchantman has about the same cargo as a regular Kraken, and it has the shops. So that's where, and not to mention, at the price of a regular Kraken at 1,600, you can get almost 6 Buccaneer Merchantmans. So that's where I'm worried about the scale factor. And this, the other thing we've heard from CitizenCon, that they're kind of pitching the Buccaneer Merchantman as the go down to planet store, where this is the in-space store. Kind of like the... Hey, let me finish. Kind of like the Argo mole to the Orion scenario there. Please continue.
But then we look at our picture here, and this is straight from the Kraken frame, and it's a Kraken landed on the planet. So
I think it's a cost thing, because we can all safely say it's going to cost a lot to get big ships down and back from planets. You'll only be.
There's one other related point too.
Yep.
To wrap up my train of thought, is that with the Kraken, you have the ability to have several customers land at a time, which is not an insignificant consideration when you think about you need to be constantly on the move. If you're going to show up at a place in lawless space, you might want to stick around for 10 or 15 minutes, let people get in, get out, and then move before some.
Definitely be able to have more customers move through on the privateer, because I think you've only got one. I haven't checked the docking collars on the Banu in a while, but I think there's only one. So definitely agree with that.
So basically, the Kraken gives you a drive-through.
That's it in a nutshell. Welcome to Crazy's Owls. You say it's Carl's. I can see that now. Just come in and Owl's on the deck going, I'll see you this. Yeah, great. All right, let's go in game. Well, wait. I've just realised I've got to bring everyone else with us so they can't see us. Hang on. And... Oh, there we go. It is very laggy today in the game, to the point that not even textures are showing up properly. So just be aware, this may crash on us. I had many issues getting in today, so yeah, it's...
And execute F12.
F12, oh yeah, there we go. Yep, sorry. Right, I'm going to say this right off the bat. If you are going to get a vehicle, get a Dragonfly. As in, they've said that it is the all-terrain bike. And if you think about it, most of the planets are going to be all-terrain. The only time you're going to not want all-terrain is clear when you're in a city like ArcCorp or something like that. So I think 9 times out of 10, this is going to be the better way to go. But that said, again, it's a vehicle. Not really worth getting. Anything you guys want to add to that, or this is short and sweet and move on because we hate vehicles? Or
the only negative with this would be inhospitable planets like ArcCorp might be negative for you to be using a Dragonfly rather than a...
Definitely get the Star Kitten one if you can afford it, though.
Yeah, it's a chick magnet. Oh, look at it. Right, moving on. Herald. Now in a really interesting spot, I find, because we've now got the Star Runner, which is the medium version, I guess you could say, of this, and it's got so much more functionality than this, with the ability to do as much cargo as a Constellation, and it's probably as undergunned as this is in a way too, yeah? So I'd lean this being cheaper and that being less likely to be redundant because of its price point and more likely to scale. I'd tell people to upgrade to the Star Runner. Would you guys kind of feel that's the same way to go?
Yeah, I think the Star Runner is in such a good spot in terms of what it brings to the game, to gameplay for the dollar value. It's just almost a ship you can't afford not to have if you have multiple ships.
This is one of those ships where it's outclassed by another ship of a similar size, and it's just not worth having.
Yeah. I think that kind of carries under this too, Algared. What are your thoughts on the Buccaneer?
Well, the Buccaneer's origin really is because the Cutlass just wasn't matching up as being an awesome fighter, and so the Drake Buccaneer came along as being the option for people who wanted that straight up fighter as opposed to the Cutlass. It was touted as being heavy gun, but a glass cannon, and that's what I hear it is.
Yeah, I think it actually needs those size 1 gimbals as well. I think that would improve it a lot. Just because, I'm not really up on the gun sizes at the moment for these two ships, but to me it feels like an Avenger at a Cutlass price point. As an example, it feels like it's really underwhelming for what you get. It is a very well-made ship. The only thing that really disappointed me was when they moved that gun back to the top, because I really loved just the way that felt, the evilness, like the Wraith from StarCraft. I really loved that look of the original concept, and I think they kind of gutted it. Osiris, is it a ship that you think is really, well, at its price point, as a Drake ship fan, I'd be going the Cutlass, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think the Cutlass is going to offer you more gameplay. If you're a dedicated dogfighter, this is deadly in the right hands. I think your average Star Citizen player may not necessarily be into the dogfighting, but this isn't a bad choice. Just for the price, definitely go with the Cutlass if you had to pick one or the other.
Right. This seems to be getting worse, ladies and boys, by the way, so I'm getting worse frame rates as we go along, so I'm actually expecting a crash here, but we'll see what happens. We'll keep persisting. The Cutlass, also the ship of the sale today as well. It's got that that limited, what are they called? The War Bond upgrades that give you 10 months insurance if your insurance less.
I believe that's the Caterpillar, isn't it?
No, oh yeah, you're right, it is the Caterpillar.
I think both
I was wrong. No, I was wrong. He is right. It was the Caterpillar. I remember now. He's correct. Yeah, I still think at the point that this ship is at, though, it's probably the best usable ship in the game. And I think the other one, believe it or not, is also the Caterpillar, which is just over here. We'll talk about that in a second. Any other perks of the Cutlass, Osiris?
I mean, it's like you said, it's if you want to move up beyond the Avenger level, this is the next logical stop. This gives you so much in terms of gameplay options, and its variants are coming out in the next couple of patches as well, which get you into more specialized gameplay, the medical gameplay with the red, and bounty hunting with the blue.
Would you call it like a generalized advanced starter? Would that be a comfortable way to describe it?
Yeah, I guess you could call it an advanced starter, but it's actually starting to even get a little more advanced than that in terms of price, maybe. Unless you want to, I mean, I don't know. There's not a hard and fast line. As far as a general ship, it's probably the most expensive advanced starter.
Okay, Algared, anything you want to add to that you like about it?
Yeah, I'd agree with Osiris's point that it's probably the most expensive advanced starter. But I'd say it is definitely an advanced starter.
When I say
competing against, let me finish, because you look at what it's generally competing against in terms of cargo and versatility, and the two runners are really the Freelancer and the Connie. And as much as I like the aesthetics of the Connie, the reworked Cutlass is definitely the best ship of its size and class, I think, in terms of being general. It's got great internals, it's got nice flight, it's got nice weapons. The only downside is that it gets its weapons, it gets its wings and engine shot off easily, just like a Connie does. So
what I was going to say is, just to clarify what I meant by advanced starters, I'm talking about things like the Prospector, the Vulcan, the Terrapin, and stuff like that. So I actually think it's on the cheaper end because it is a generalized. Sure. I know technically speaking an Avenger is as well, and so are things like a Reliant, but I think it's a more advanced version of those, so obviously it's more expensive, but I also think it's because it's generalized, it's cheaper than say something like a did I say Polaris when I meant to say Prospector? That's probably what I said earlier. It's all good.
Well, there's a good comparison here. Also a Drake ship, the Vulture would be one of those professional advanced starters, and I think that you're less likely to outgrow something like the Cutlass because of its generalized gameplay.
100%.
Yeah.
100% agree with that statement. All right, so I guess the Caterpillar, man, this is really lagging today. I'm actually starting to think it's really unoptimized, or I'm wondering if it's for the fact that someone's left the Caterpillar open. Doesn't seem to be loading properly either. But yeah, long story short, this is the cargo ship in the game at the moment. This is the best one to get. You can do a lot of, I know several Australian orgs that I hang out with, they use this on a regular basis to do all their cargo runs with. And they make a couple of $1 million a night working as a group. Love it or hate it. I think it's got some really cool quirks. I love the asymmetry of it. It's one of the last actual asymmetry ships in the game. And I was drawn to it because
I disagree. I disagree with that comment. It is probably the last, or second last. It's the only one we've got in game at the moment, and the only one I can really think of is the Javelin beside it.
What I mean is the last true one, because there are other things like the Herald used to be, and the Star Runner is being touted as asymmetrical, but really it's not quite the same. This literally is, because it's got a command module hanging off the side.
I was emphasising your point.
Cool. All right. Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else in game today. So, what are the other Drake ships that are not in game?
I actually, as much as I hate Drake, it's true. Drake is not my favorite, but I actually do like the Caterpillar. One of the things that it takes getting used to, and the reason it takes getting used to, is your cockpit is right at the back of the ship,
And off to the side.
whereas every other ship, and off to the side, whereas every other ship, it's at the front. But once you get used to flying it, it is actually quite nice. And I know it's horrifying for me to say.
Well, I'm glad you're slowly coming around to the side of reason, Algared. To me, this is a good ship for the reasons that Execute mentioned, but it's one of the biggest question marks in Star Citizen in terms of what is this going to become when we get those modules, and there's still so little information about those. I want to be optimistic because I'm a big fan of Drake and I'm a big fan of the Caterpillar, but who knows?
And one of the things when the Caterpillar was originally released was the fact that the original idea was you'd be able to have one with only one cargo module, 2 cargo modules, 3 cargo modules, 4 cargo modules. And so you could actually, the idea was you could choose the modules you wanted. And that went by the wayside. But what remained was there would be different modules that you could have. So you could have habitation modules, you could have cargo, you could have medical, you could have mining.
So it's more of an a la carte thing, which is interesting. The privateer, which is an all or nothing conversion.
Yeah.
How much more interesting would that ship be if they let you add shops one at a time and take away a little bit of cargo one at a time until you got exactly the balance that you wanted?
I think if they did that with the Kraken, that would be like the bomb.
Now, Algared pointed out earlier when we were recording the show, talking before we recorded the show, that the privateer actually came up in lore early in the year, like January, February sometime.
Yeah, yep. There was a lore story.
But we're also hearing reports that because the Anvil capital ship didn't come out, that this was literally made in like the last couple of weeks. So this was kind of like pushed forward in development. And it really feels like it hasn't been nutted out like some of the other ones. It does feel very rushed to me. I think, though, with the nature of development, as they always call it, the way the cargo to shops ratio is done may change. I would have liked to have personally seen it get a bit more cargo. I don't know how they would do that. Maybe it allows you to put... so, like, I'm giving you an example. You lose the medium cargo bay area and or the ability to repair the ships or something like that, and the cargo, the shops go there instead. So what if they were literally on the deck of the where the medium ships
internal
go? Yeah, or something like that. Hangar. Yeah, I think losing the cargo is really detrimental to this ship. I really think it's like Osiris said, it needs to scale with a Banner Merchantman, and I think that if they change it to fit somewhere like that, I think that might be better. I don't know about you, but I'd rather you lose the ability to land like some ships on the deck over losing all that cargo space with it. And that's just my personal preference, but what are your guys' thoughts on that? Real quick.
Cyrus?
Oh, jeez. I mean, again, it feels like it's one of these all or nothing, take it or leave it. CIG doesn't really... they just want your money. It's kind of a tone deaf thing, a money grab, if you will. I don't think at this time that I'm gonna buy the privateer upgrade kit. I have a regular Kraken. I like the idea of it, and I can see the utility of it, but I'm just gonna hang out and see how it plays out a little bit.
You may be able to get an actual conversion kit in game too. Like, seriously. So
right.
we don't know yet. The other thing I just remembered too is you do actually lose the Dragonfly area, so maybe that is where some of the cargo goes now, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, so I'd like to see... It would have been nice being a conversion by conversion, a customs company. If you had the option like with the 300. So, okay, one shop with gives you, is going to cost you this. 2 shops will cost you this. 3 shops will cost you this. Gave a whole hog and
Well,
and get this,
even if you buy
and
the entire conversion kit, just the ability to set how many shops you want would have been nice too. I really want to move on though because we've still got one ship that I can. Is there any other ships besides the Corsair that were not in game today? Just the Corsair, is that the
Vulture.
last one? And the
The
Vulture.
Vulture.
Okay, so the Vulture obviously is probably the next one on the way because of salvage, and so that, though as an advanced starter, as Osiris mentioned, we're not in love with it. Again, if you look at, say, something like the Reclaimer, it doesn't scale, and we've now got our medium mining ship coming. If you look at how that works, it clearly shows that you can still probably drive it with one person and a couple of NPCs, and it'll probably be the same for the salvage ship. Plus, you won't have to get out of your ship and blow stuff apart like you have to with the Vulture. You can just sit in your comfort of your ship and do all that.
and you'll have more cargo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you won't need your you'll lose your refinery though with that, which is what the Reclaimer will retain. But again, with that refinery ship coming, you can just hand it off to your mates. So the Corsair, the only thing I kind of don't like about that personally is the guns, but I think that would be probably one of the first ships that I'd consider upgrading to if you like it, and the Caterpillar. I think they're the only kind of two recommendations I would recommend today personally. But I've also, to give an example of myself, I wanted another all-rounder type of ship, so I've actually got upgrades to the Corsair, and then I've got upgrades that split off to both the Star Runner and the Constellation, and I'm going to sit there and wait and see which one of those turns out to be the best for my needs, and that's what I've done. So that's what I'd probably recommend for other people, unless you're really dead set on one of those already. I just can't pick.
And those three ships, I think, are really treading on each other's toes. The one does the data running and cargo. And I think the Star Runner probably edges out because it's got both roles.
Yeah.
The Constellation's probably slightly more armoured and has better weapons.
Where the Constellation's a little bit undergunned, but it's got much better layout. It's very much rock, paper, scissors between those three. So as I said,
you meant the Corsair undergunned, but...
Yes. No. No. Star Runner is the one that's undergunned. Corsair's just got weird guns. But anyway.
Yeah, you said... Yeah, you didn't say the...
It's all right, sorry.
The one you meant.
My bad.
So.
Is there any other recommends that you guys... updates or CCUs that you guys recommend? And then we'll wrap up. Besides the ones I've stated, I guess I already stole the show on those ones.
I just kind of piggyback on what you were just saying, execute, and for the sake of newer backers, CIG has this very strong tendency to one-up their older ships every time a new concept is unveiled. So if you have a little bit of patience and you don't apply those CCUs, you just let it play out, something better may come along, you can melt it and use the same money instead of have to redo your whole fleet.
Yep.
Algared, any recommendations?
I probably agree with you.
Yep.
Probably agree with you on your recommendation for the Star Runner the Corsair / Star Runner Constellation.
Yep.
Especially if you've got money. If you don't have the money to get those CCUs, just get a Corsair and a CCU to a Star Runner because the Constellation is always available.
That's correct. Yeah, so you can... The other thing that I should add, but I kind of wanted to remove a little bit of confusion, but the way I did it very specifically, because the Terrapin is out and it's in the middle of all three of those ships price-wise, I have an upgrade from the Corsair to the Terrapin, and then I have one from each, from the Terrapin to the Constellation, and from the Terrapin to the Star Runner, and it saved myself $5. And the Terrapin's not likely to move because it's as in price because it's already been released. So might make it a little confusing. If you need help with that, again, we're all on Discord. Hit us up. We've had a couple of people. We had a doozy last night. That was great. This guy had like 20 ships that were just crazy, and he ended up with a really awesome fleet, and he walked away really happy. Right. Anything you boys want to add? I know we've got Origin tomorrow. I don't even want to turn up because it's going to be crap, but I'll be here tomorrow regardless. Anything you want to add?
Yep. So don't forget, if you like us, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us on Discord.
Yep.
So much value on our Discord. definitely.
Yeah.
Tons of good advice.
Well, yeah, I've been really enjoying just the discussions this week alone with the gentleman on there. A lot of good advice going back and forth, and yeah, I've been really enjoying it. So yeah, shout out to the boys on the Discord. This one's for you. All right, we'll go back and join them now, actually. So yeah, you will leave you guys to, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Catch you next time.
Take care.